it does.
Hello YouTubers, you're back here with Shavron, and I'm going to be taking a look at the latest reveals for the Eternity Code booster box that has happened in the past week, especially the ones that have come out today and yesterday. They were pretty crazy reveals, so with that, let's get straight to it. So first up, we actually have a very good reprint, which is Malice, Maiden of Malice. So from what I can remember, this card only actually has one other printing, which was from a structure deck. So for newer players, it was very hard for people to have access to this card. So yeah, the structure deck was called Lair of Darkness. So for newer people who wanted to play some sort of control or burn deck, and they wanted to pick up 3 copies of this card, it was very hard, so because not many people actually have this card floating around. But now it's going to be a lot easier for those people who want to try some sort of burn or control on trap based decks. So I'll quickly read over what it does for the people who don't know. So it's a level 3 Dark Fiend effect monster, 1000 attack and defense. You can use the first effect with this card name only once per turn. So it's a quick effect. You contribute 2 monsters, then target one of your normal traps that is banished or in your graveyard and set it to your field, and if you do, return it to the bottom of your of the deck when it leaves the field. So very good for your being able to rotate traps and just getting what you need on the spot. So it was very much needed, especially when Mystic Mine Burn was around, when you had Metaverse at 3. This card was played at 3 as well with the main deck, and it was just so much power for the burn tactic, and it was it was very much needed. So I don't know how will it go now with with Metaverse still being at 1, but there are other cards in this set which is gonna help burn a fair bit. So until we get to them, this is where Malice is at the moment, and for the people who wanted to play it, I hope you guys enjoy that one. So next up, we actually have another sister joining the big barrage of hand traps we already have in the current game. So this is the 6th yokai girl to show her stuff, and she is a level 3 Wind Zombie Tuna effect monster, 0 attack, 1800 defense. You can only use the first effect with this card's name only once per turn. If your opponent special summons a monsters or monsters face up, you can discard this card, then target one of those face up monsters, negate that target's effects, and if you do, if it leaves the field this turn, inflict damage to the controller to its controller equal to the original attack. So again, helps with the burn tactic for those burn decks, and it is a very good hand trap on top of that. I don't know if it has revealed if it's going to be a secret rare or not. If it is a secret rare, I can expect this card to have a pretty decent price tag on release. Being able to just negate special summon monsters effects is really good. We already have an effect veiler currently, but effect veiler, you can only use it on your opponent's turn, so it has a fairly big drawback to it, where this card, it doesn't matter what turn you're in. If you're in the battle phase, you don't have to be in main phase for it. It just hits as long as your opponent special summons a monster. So very strong for the hand trap decks. I don't know if you're going to be mainboarding it. We do have current strong hand traps in the game currently. It depends how, pretty much more of a shot call if you feel the need that this is going to be better than like mainboarding Ash, or if you're going to mainboard this and the Ash, or you still have Impermanence. I think Impermanence is just going to be better to mainboard with the Ash. This card being a hand trap to discard, it can get hit by Call by Grave, so it could force out Call by Grave to be ran more. So at the moment, I don't see it being played as much as Infinite Impermanence, but it could still be a big card to be used. It does negate special summon monsters. There's a lot of targets this card can hit, so it really comes down to where it swings with the meta. At the moment, it's still a great card. It's another sister, it's another hand trap, so more control for those decks that like the hand traps. So here we have Beaming Prosperity. So it's a normal spell card. You can only activate one card with this card's name once per turn. Excavate a number of cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of Beaming Prosperities in your graveyard plus 3. So it's always going to reveal the 3, and if there are 3 types of cards among them monster, spell and trap, add one of them to your hand and then send the rest to your graveyard, otherwise return them to the deck. So it does have a very big drawback from just being a dead card. If you miss revealing all 3, it does return all cards revealed back to your deck. It doesn't send a grave, so it's it's not a guaranteed self-mill for those decks that like to be milled. To run this card, you're probably looking at decks that can rearrange the top of their deck. I think it's meant to be Sylvan support, so I'm pretty sure Sylvans actually have cards that allow them to rearrange the top of the deck to make this card work. So outside of Sylvans, I don't actually see it working at all, because it's a very big gamble to reveal all three types. But for Sylvans, it could be something big. You guarantee add one of them to your hand, which could be a very big power play, depending on what card you add to your hand. It doesn't have to be a Sylvan card, it's just any one card you reveal, so it could be a hard side tech or just a good strong main board you have. But other than that, I don't really see it being ran out of Sylvans. Maybe with the new or not even then. I was actually thinking of the new Sea Serpent stuff coming out, but it only actually puts a card to the top of the deck, so you don't actually rearrange with the next two, so it could be hard. It would be hard to run in that deck as well. So yeah, definitely just Sylvans at the moment. So yeah, enough for me with this card. Let's move on to the next. So next up, we have Union Driver. I've been hearing a lot about this card when it comes to people locally or just online on Facebook. Seeing a lot of people trying to make some play testing ideas with this card. So let's get straight to what it does. It's a level 5 light machine union effect monster, so straight up it screams Cyber Dragons. It's 2100 attack, 1000 defense, same as to all the Cyber Dragons out there as well. So it could very much be so for the Cyber Dragon deck. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. So once per turn you can target one face up monster you control, equip this card to that target, or unequip this card and special summon it. If the equipped monster would be destroyed by a battle or card effect, destroy this card instead. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can banish this card, equip an appropriate level 4 or lower union monster from your deck to that monster that was equipped with this card. So not only the thought of possibly Cyber Dragon running this card, it's actually screaming pretty big for what's that, the ABC Bomb deck as well. Being able to just banish this card and then pretty much search your deck for any of the A, B, or C pieces and just put it straight to the field. It makes putting Buster out a lot simpler, but it really depends on how easy it is to get this card out on the field. So I'm not too experienced with the machine decks. If there's a way to cheat this card out, that could be very good for the ABC decks and the Cyber Dragon Infinity decks. But straight up, with the new Master Rule, if ABCs can get this card out fairly easy, it could very much help them get their double, say, ABC Busters and like a Bistor out on the field or anything like that. I can see pretty crazy things happening with this card. It just really comes down to how easy it is to get it out. So if there's anyone out there who's watching who actually knows a way to get this card out fairly simple, please let me know, because I'd actually like to try this out myself. Next up, we have Jewel Beast Agosaurus. So this card has been bringing up a lot of talk for those Dino players. So I'm assuming this card actually has an insane effect for the Dino deck. So let's get straight to it and see for ourselves. So it's a level 1 light dinosaur effect monster, 0 attack, 0 defense. You can only use this use the effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can destroy one dinosaur monster in your hand or face up on the field except Jewel Beast Agosaurus. Then add one reptile, sea serpent, or winged beast monster with the same level as the destroyed monster, or one evolution pill spell card from your deck to hand. So it's an evolution searcher. Straight away, when I think about dinosaurs, this card can combo fairly well with miscellaneous. Being able to just banish one to special summon this card, it'll be fairly easy. Then destroy another dino from your hand. First thing that comes to mind is destroying like a Babysaurus, getting a Babysaurus effect plus a evolution pill add on top of that. So actually very good turbo for your dinosaur decks out there. I don't know how many copies of this card you would run in your main board. I currently think maybe just the one, because you're searching it out fairly quick off the miscellaneous anyways. To bump it up, it could be a possible brick. It's probably one of those cards you only want to see once per game, so I definitely think it's just one for the main deck. But people probably already have crazy builds with this card already, and probably trying to figure that out if they're playing 2 or 1 themselves. For those Dino players watching this, let me know your thoughts on how many copies of the run this card. I think 1, but there's probably other strategies I currently haven't seen with this card that could be met with the Dino decks as well. So next up, we have a synchro monster. So this is Ravenous Crocosaur Archidus. What a name for this guy. So it's a level 9 water fish synchro effect monster. It's 1000 attack, 1000 defense. So for a level 9, has fairly low stats, but let's see if it has the effects to make up for it. You can only use the first and third effects of this card's name once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, you can draw one card for each non-tuner monster you use as a material to synchro summon this card. So immediately it's a guaranteed one draw, possibly two depending what type of deck you're running this card in. If this card gains 500 attack and defense for each card in your hand. So this stats that actually just becomes big depending on how much draw power your deck has or adding power. It could be fairly big once this card hits the field. So the next effect, it's a quick effect. You can discard 2 cards and target 1 card on the field, destroy that card. Mermail. Mermail's like discarding, and it is water type as well. Don't know how easy it is for Mermails to go into this card. I know they can go into Trishula fairly easy. It is level 9 as well as like Trishula, so you can possibly getting draw 2 plus discarding 2 of your Atlanteans, and then getting the additional discard of to grave effects to say I think Marksman destroys a card on field when he's discarded as well, and then destroying another card on the field on top of this guy's effect. Very good disruption for the Mermail decks. I don't know if you play this card because I don't have much experience piloting Mermails. Have fair experience versing them, but I don't know if they'll drop it to play this card. From me sitting here looking at this card, I think they'll play it out one for that, just having that option to discard 2, get multiple pops on the field. It seems pretty good to push your OTK out. That's how I would think of this card. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that Mermail decks will run this card. It seems pretty insane now you think of it for the Mermail deck. For other decks out there, I don't know if they'll run it. Due to being a synchro card, it is fairly hard for your standard deck to go into. It's not like your Link monster or your XYZ monster where it's fairly easy to go into them. Links require certain levels, have to be exact as well. But a lot of your synchro decks actually find it very easy to go into this card. So yeah, discard and pop, very destructive for your Mermail decks. Outside of that deck, I don't know what else you'd run it in, but yeah, looks like to be very good Mermail support there. So for these last 3 cards, I think they're freaking insane, so let's just get straight to them, starting with this first one, which is Void Calamity. So this card is insane. So it's a continuous spell card. You can only use one effect among the first and second effects of this card per turn, and only once that turn. You can discard 1 card, then send 1 fiend monster from your deck to the graveyard. So instantly, I think Burning Abyss, all those BA players out there are probably looking at this card and going, what just happened? This is insane. I want 3 copies. And if I was playing BA, I'll probably say the same thing myself, because being able to just send any fiend monster from your deck to grave in a BA deck just adds so much consistency, and discarding a card on top of it, your BA cards, your block engine likes being in the grave, so it just helps out a lot more that way. So yeah, it's pretty much what BA needed to give them a bit of a boost to have that shine again. And with the Master Rule coming out, the new Master Rule not so far away, BA is looking to be in a very prime position with the main deck working so well with the new Master Rule that's coming in, as well as this card just saying, hey look BA, we're here to help you out. And its second effect, you can send this card face up in your spell and trap zone to the graveyard and send infernoid monsters with different names from your hand or deck to the graveyard up to the number of monsters your opponent controls that was special summoned from the extra deck. So they require to be special summoned from the extra deck for this card effect to work, but it doesn't really matter because the first effect is still very great, especially for your Infernoid decks as well. And on top of that, if your opponent does control their special summon monsters from the extra deck, this send from field to grave is just going to be so much better. So it's not a dead card without the second effect. The first effect is already crazy enough as it is, but the second effect does lock in for Infernoid decks. For Infernoids are crazy once they hit the grave, so this is pretty much the boost they needed. If they see competitive play again for like the higher tiers because of this card, not too sure yet. The new Master Rule really determines on how much power older decks gain to be able to combat with what we currently have, and how many older decks just gain so much power. The meta is going to be all over the place for the first month, but looking at this card, I'm thinking BA is definitely going to be up there, and this card's definitely going to be in BA as well. So yeah, that's what are my thoughts on this card. Let's get to the next one. So for this one, we have a new trap hole card. So this one is Hole by the Grave, or the Grave Hole, or Grave Hole. So I don't know if they're very decided on what they're going to use for the TCG name, but it has been confirmed that it is a trap hole card, so you can use it with trap tricks. It's a normal trap card. When your opponent activates a monster effect in hand, in the graveyard, or that is banished, negate that effect, and if you do, your opponent takes 2000 damage. That is very insane for your burn decks. 2000 damage just for negating something is a big damage number. So when it comes to your like Mystic Mind burn or any other burn out there, maybe Tricksters if they get light stage back, you can expect this card to be played in the main board. It hits just monster effects in hand, grave, or banish. That is a lot of effects this card covers already. It covers your hand traps. It covers a lot of your decks that have monster effects in grave. Pretty much every top tier deck right now has grave effects. So very broad cover with this card. And with trap tricks, I'm pretty sure we have a lot of those trap tricks trap players out there who enjoy playing trap tricks still. This is an insane card for you to get off Refreshia. And I talked to one trap tricks player so far about this card, and he just says this card's insane. I want 3, and I don't blame him. A lot of decks that have the store tactic or just burn tactic, just control, are probably going to want this card somewhere, even if it's in the side. It seems pretty strong. I don't know how much impact it will have after the Masteral, because a lot of effects probably be happening on board, but you'll probably still have a lot of your decks that have grave effects as well as hand traps. Hand traps are still going to be a big thing unless they decide to go wild and hit a lot of them. I don't think they will. Maxi will probably be a thing. Maxi is in those positions where it gets put on the ban list, then gets taken off the ban list, and yeah, but again, I'm talking about Maxi. I don't think you'll use Maxi against a deck that runs this card. I'm just trying to think of ways to play this card at the moment. But yeah, it is very powerful. You have like your Ash, Lancey, a lot of cards you can like just protect yourself from. Orcus will hate the hell out of this card when it comes out, but I don't know how the ban list is going to be as well. So, but yeah, definitely expect this card to do a lot of damage in the meta, and especially expect chain burn, any type of burn out there, to take advantage like crazy off this card. And let's just get to the last one, which I think this last card is fairly insane. I don't know what else to say about this last card apart from it's bloody insane, but let's get straight to it. So we have this big boy, Arch Nemesis, Shadows. So this is a light dragon, special summon effect, level 11, 3000 attack, 2500 defense. You cannot be normal summon or set. Must be first special summon by banishing 3 monsters with different types among the face up monsters you control, all engraved. You can only use the effect, the second effect of this card once per turn. So straight away, this deck is actually really easy for a lot of your decks to summon. 3 monsters of different types from field or grave. You most likely will just use 3 cards from your graveyard. So going second strategy is very easy to get them out, because you'll already have a lot of your stuff dumped when you make your, say, go second play, and you just drop this card last to try and push for the OTK. So straight away, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, which is great. You can declare 1 monster type from among the monsters on the field, destroy all monsters on the field of that type, and if you do, neither player can special summon monsters of the declared type until the end of next turn. So yeah, as well as being able to push for crazy OTK after clearing board, if you somehow don't get it, or you just fall off near lethal, your opponent cannot special summon monsters of that type when it comes to their turn. So as well as destroying the board, doing a lot of damage, your opponent most likely not be able to rebuild if they're running an Arch type that is hard stuck onto one type, and then it just pretty much just comes back to your turn, and then you just clear for the OTK on the second try. So this card is definitely going to be very crazy for those turn 2 play decks. Does require a deck that runs a lot of types, which is a fair few out there. Straight away I'm thinking of Crusadia, maybe Spiral if they go if they have like a go second strategy, because Spiral does run a lot of different types, because they do link climb a lot and they dump a lot of monster types in the graveyard. Maybe Burning Abyss if they can yeah, probably Burning Abyss if they dump enough types. They do go through like fairies, fiends, you got rocks as well. So there's your 3 there. Can help push OTKs that way. I don't know if they'll be able to play this card, but it looks like a promising card they can play, but also adds to potential bricks. So you got to be careful what deck you run it in. I reckon it will be very successful in decks that have one or 2 card combos that set up your whole field, then just drop this guy in and swing for OTK. So yeah, that is what Konami has currently revealed for the Eternity set. I don't know if it's all the cards, I haven't double checked on that one, but at the moment, the Eternity code looks like to be insane set. It has strong support for the current, for the new archetypes that are already dropping in this month, which is the Adignista and your Senka decks. And this card's bringing out more for those archetypes, as well as very strong staple cards by the looks of it. So yeah, that is my current review on the cards that have been revealed in the Eternity code set. Looks like it's going to be insane. Like I said, there's so many strong cards in this set. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed watching this video, please consider supporting me by liking and subscribing to this video. And your support to me will help me bring out more content for you guys to maybe enjoy. And you guys will definitely be seeing me next time. See you guys. Does.